The stars looked different that morning when Jake Morrison stepped outside his small apartment in Colorado Springs. He worked as a radar operator at the North American Defense Command, and something felt wrong about the sky. The feeling stayed with him as he drove to work through the quiet mountain roads. At the command center, Jake found his supervisor, Lisa Campbell, already at her desk, staring at multiple computer screens. Lisa had been tracking strange signals from deep space for 3 days now. The signals were getting stronger and moving toward Earth at incredible speed. "Jake, come look at this," Lisa said without turning around. Her voice carried worry that made Jake walk faster to her station. On the main screen, dozens of red dots moved through space in perfect formation. Each dot represented something massive, something that should not exist. "What are those?" Jake asked, though he already feared the answer. In his 5 years working at the Defense Center, he had never seen anything like this pattern on the screens. "Unknown contacts," Lisa replied. "They appeared at the edge of our solar system 3 days ago. Whatever they are, they're heading straight for Earth." She pointed to calculations showing arrival time. The objects would reach Earth in less than 2 days. General Frank Miller arrived within an hour of Jake's call. The general rarely visited the mountain facility, but these readings demanded his immediate attention. He studied the data with growing concern. The objects were not asteroids or comets. They moved with purpose and maintained perfect spacing. How big are these things? General Miller asked. The answer made everyone in the room go quiet. Each object measured roughly the size of a small city. There were 47 of them, and they all traveled together like a fleet of enormous ships. Dr. Alan Brooks received an urgent call at his research facility in Nevada. For 20 years, he had worked on classified projects that most people believed were just theories. Today, those projects became humanity's only hope. He packed his most important files and drove toward Colorado as fast as his old car could manage. The alien fleet entered Earth's solar system on Tuesday morning. Observatories around the world tracked their movement as they passed Mars without slowing down. The ships appeared to be made of some organic material that seemed to grow and shift as they moved through space. President Daniel Clark held an emergency meeting in Washington. The military advisors had no good answers about how to defend against such massive ships. Nuclear weapons might damage them, but 47 city-sized targets could not be stopped by conventional means. The president authorized the activation of Protocol 7, a defensive plan that few people knew existed. Lisa Campbell watched the alien fleet approach Earth's moon. The ships moved with grace that seemed impossible for objects so large. They positioned themselves in orbit around Earth, their dark forms blocking out sections of the sky. People in major cities could see them without telescopes. Jake monitored radio frequencies as governments around the world tried to contact the alien ships. Every language and mathematical sequence was broadcast toward the fleet, but no response came back. The aliens seemed to ignore all attempts at communication. Admiral Krexthul stood on the command bridge of his flagship, studying the small blue planet below. His people had conquered 47 star systems without meeting serious resistance. This world looked even more primitive than the others. Scans showed simple technology and a population that had barely left their home planet. The Admiral's tactical officer reported that the planet's defensive capabilities were minimal. A few orbital stations and some basic military installations posed no threat to the Zephyrian fleet. The conquest would be completed within days, adding another world to their vast empire. Dr. Brooks arrived at the Colorado facility carrying a metal briefcase that required special clearance to enter the building. Inside the case were activation codes for weapons systems that had been hidden around the world for 2 decades. These weapons had been built using technology that no human should have possessed. General Miller gathered his senior staff for a classified briefing. He told them about Project Thunderstrike and the quantum resonance array that Dr. Brooks had constructed beneath the Pacific Ocean. The weapon had never been tested at full power, but computer models suggested it could devastate the alien fleet. The first alien transmission came at sunset on Tuesday. Admiral Krex Thule broadcasted a simple message to Earth in perfect English. His words chilled everyone who heard them. Primitive species of the third planet, you will surrender immediately or face complete destruction. You have one rotation of your world to comply. Lisa Campbell looked at the translation software that had decoded the alien language in real time. The aliens had been studying Earth much longer than anyone realized. They knew human languages and customs, which meant they had been planning this invasion for years. Jake felt sick as he listened to news reports from around the world. Panic had started in major cities as people saw the massive alien ships hanging in the sky. Some religious groups claimed the end times had arrived, while others demanded that governments fight back against the invaders. Dr. Brooks entered his activation codes into the quantum resonance array's control system. The weapon began charging, drawing power from Earth's magnetic field itself. Readings showed it would take 12 hours to reach full capacity. They would have one chance to use it before the aliens realized what was happening. President Clark authorized the response to the alien ultimatum. Lisa Campbell sent the message personally, speaking directly to Admiral Krex Thule with words that would echo through galactic history. You have made a grave error in judgment. Captain Steve Rodriguez floated in zero gravity aboard the USS Nightfall, watching Earth through the view screen as alien ships positioned themselves around his home planet. His stealth destroyer had been hiding in the asteroid belt for 6 months, waiting for this day. 11 other ships like his remained invisible to alien sensors, their hulls shifted partially out of normal space. The technology that kept them hidden came from the first alien probe that had visited Earth 23 years ago. That probe had been destroyed, but not before Earth scientists had learned secrets about quantum physics that changed everything. Steve's ship existed in a state between dimensions, undetectable by any known scanning method. Engineer Patricia Davis worked frantically in her underground facility beneath Denver, monitoring holographic projectors that had been installed around every major city on Earth. When the aliens began their bombardment, they would target phantom images while the real cities remained protected by energy shields powered by fusion reactors. The alien fleet completed their orbital positions just after midnight. Admiral Krex Thule gave the order to begin the assault on what he believed was a defenseless world. Plasma beams lanced down from the massive bioships, striking targets that flickered and vanished like mirages. Jake Morrison watched the alien attack from the command center's main screen. Explosions bloomed where major cities should have been, but the holographic projectors made it look like devastating impacts, while the real population centers remained untouched beneath their protective barriers. Commander Rick Hayes piloted his atmospheric fighter through the upper atmosphere, leading a squadron of 12 experimental aircraft. Each fighter used controlled antimatter reactions for propulsion, technology that should have been impossible for a species that had only recently developed nuclear power. The fighters remained cloaked until they received attack orders. The first alien drop pods began falling toward Earth's surface at dawn on Wednesday. Hundreds of the organic vessels penetrated the atmosphere, carrying Zephyrian ground forces to secure strategic locations. The aliens expected to find terrified humans hiding in primitive shelters. Instead, they found automated defense turrets that rose from hidden positions in the ground. The turrets fired coherent energy beams that cut through alien armor like paper. The weapons used principles of quantum mechanics that the Zephyrians had never encountered from primitive species. Dr. Emma Stone monitored the quantum resonance array from her control bunker 11 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean. The weapon continued charging, drawing more power from Earth's magnetic field with each passing hour. Readings showed the array would reach full capacity in 3 more hours. General Miller coordinated the defense from his command post inside Mount Wilson. Reports came in from around the world showing alien forces being systematically destroyed by weapons they could not understand. The ground invasion was failing, But the real battle would begin when the fleet realized what was happening. Admiral Krexthul received disturbing reports from his ground commanders. The primitive humans possessed technology that defied explanation. Energy weapons, quantum shields, and antimatter reactors suggested a level of advancement that their initial scans had completely missed. Steve Rodriguez received new orders through encrypted quantum communication. His stealth fleet would attack when the resonance array fired, catching the alien ships while they were weakened and confused. The USS Nightfall and her sister ships carried singularity torpedoes that created miniature black holes on impact. Patricia Davis watched her holographic systems maintain perfect deception as alien plasma bombardments continued striking phantom targets. The energy required to maintain such massive illusions came from the same fusion reactors that powered the city shields. Earth's infrastructure had been secretly rebuilt over 2 decades to support this level of defensive capability. Lieutenant Amy Turner prepared her fighter for atmospheric combat as alien reinforcements descended from the orbital fleet. Her aircraft carried quantum disruptor missiles that could destabilize the molecular bonds in alien bioarmor. The weapons had been tested against samples from the original probe with devastating effectiveness. The second wave of alien ground forces landed in rural areas, expecting to find agricultural communities with minimal defenses. Instead, they encountered automated manufacturing facilities that had been disguised as farms. These factories immediately began producing combat, drones using blueprints stored in quantum computers. Jake Morrison coordinated communications between defense installations worldwide. The quantum communication network allowed instant contact between any 2 points on Earth without electromagnetic signatures that aliens could intercept. The technology had been reverse-engineered from the probe's communication systems. Dr. Brooks monitored power levels in the resonance array as it approached full charge. The weapon would fire a burst of exotic particles along Earth's magnetic field lines, creating a web of destruction that would engulf any object within the planet's magnetosphere. The aliens had positioned their fleet perfectly for maximum damage. Commander Hayes received targeting data for his fighter squadron as alien ships began launching additional drop pods. Each fighter would attack a different vessel simultaneously, using their antimatter drives to achieve speeds that would surprise the alien pilots. The attack would begin exactly when the resonance array fired. Admiral Krexthul tried to contact his home fleet, but found that quantum tunneling was being jammed across the entire solar system. Something was interfering with subspace communication, trapping his forces without backup or the ability to report their situation. The primitive world had become a trap. Dr. Stone made final adjustments to the targeting systems as the resonance array reached 90% charge. The weapon would fire in exactly 18 minutes, synchronized with attacks from the stealth, fleet, and atmospheric fighters. 23 years of preparation would be tested in a single coordinated strike. General Miller reviewed casualty reports that showed minimal human losses, despite the apparent devastation visible from orbit. The holographic deception was working perfectly, making the aliens believe they were winning while their own forces were being methodically destroyed. The quantum resonance array reached full charge at precisely 14:20 GMT. Dr. Stone's finger hovered over the firing control as she waited for the final countdown. Around the world, hidden weapon systems prepared to reveal themselves. Earth's true strength was about to be unleashed on an unsuspecting enemy. The quantum resonance array fired at exactly 14:22 GMT on Wednesday afternoon. Dr. Stone watched readings spike beyond measurement as exotic particles raced along Earth's magnetic field lines at 98% of light speed. The weapon created an electromagnetic web that surrounded the planet and everything in orbit above it. Admiral Krexthul felt his flagship shudder as reality itself seemed to bend around the massive bioship. Warning signals screamed through the organic corridors as quantum fields that maintained the ship's basic structure began to collapse. The living walls started dissolving at the molecular level, exposing interior sections to the vacuum of space. Every Zephyrian vessel in Earth's orbit experienced the same devastating effects simultaneously. The aliens had built their ships using quantum field manipulation that allowed organic materials to exist in the harsh environment of space. When Earth's resonance array disrupted those fields, the ships began tearing themselves apart. Captain Rodriguez watched the alien fleet writhe in agony through the view screen of the USS Nightfall. This was the moment his stealth squadron had trained for during 6 months of hiding in the asteroid belt. He gave the order to materialize all 12 ships and begin their attack run. The stealth destroyers appeared from quantum shift like ghosts becoming solid. Their hulls gleamed with exotic materials that had been developed from alien technology found in the original probe. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon, and they had perfect targeting solutions on the weakened alien vessels. Lieutenant Amy Turner launched her atmospheric fighter as the first singularity torpedo detonated against Admiral Krex Thul's flagship. The miniature black hole expanded for 3 seconds before collapsing, taking a section of the bioship's hull with it into compressed space. Her fighter climbed toward orbit to join the space battle. Commander Hayes led his squadron in a coordinated strike against the alien vessels that were still launching drop pods. Their quantum disruptor missiles created cascade failures in the bioship's organic systems. Each hit caused the vessels to lose structural integrity and begin breaking apart under their own gravitational stress. Dr. Stone monitored the resonance array's effects from her bunker beneath the Pacific Ocean. The exotic particle burst had exceeded all theoretical predictions, creating quantum distortions that would persist for several hours. Any alien technology dependent on quantum fields would remain vulnerable during that time. Jake Morrison coordinated targeting data for the Global Defense Network as hidden weapons revealed themselves around the world. Orbital railguns emerged, from camouflaged asteroids firing projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. The kinetic impacts shattered alien hulls that were already weakened by quantum disruption. General Miller watched the battle unfold from Mount Wilson as reports flooded in from around the globe. Alien ground forces were surrendering or being systematically eliminated by automated defense systems. The invasion was collapsing faster than anyone had dared hope. Admiral Krex Thul's communications officer reported that 31 ships had been completely destroyed within the first 10 minutes of the human counterattack. The remaining vessels were losing structural integrity and could not maintain orbit. Emergency protocols demanded immediate retreat, but quantum jamming made faster-than-light travel impossible. Patricia Davis observed her holographic projections flicker and fade as the deception was no longer necessary. The real cities emerged. From beneath their energy shields, their populations cheering as alien ships burned in the sky above them. 23 years of secret preparation had paid off in spectacular fashion. The USS Nightfall fired her second singularity torpedo at a bioship that was attempting to ram the stealth destroyer in a desperate attack. The miniature black hole consumed the alien vessel's engine section, causing a chain reaction that split the ship in half. Debris rained down toward Earth's atmosphere, burning up like meteors. Dr. Brooks monitored quantum field readings as the last functional alien ships tried to escape Earth's magnetic field. The resonance array had created a quantum barrier that prevented faster-than-light travel within the solar system. The aliens were trapped until the effect dissipated in approximately 6 hours. Commander Hayes pursued fleeing alien fighters through Earth's upper atmosphere, his antimatter drive allowing maneuvers that violated conventional physics. The alien pilots had never encountered aircraft that could accelerate at forces that should have killed their crews. Human inertial dampening technology gave Hayes an insurmountable advantage. Lieutenant Turner witnessed the destruction of the alien flagship as multiple singularity torpedoes struck its command section simultaneously. Admiral Krex Thul's vessel imploded under gravitational forces that compressed its bioorganic hull into a sphere of superdense matter. The Admiral's final transmission was a warning that would never reach his home fleet. Steve Rodriguez counted. Only 3 alien vessels still capable of maintaining orbit. The quantum resonance array had disabled 44 ships, while his stealth squadron had finished off most of the survivors. The battle was essentially over, though cleanup operations would continue for several more hours. Dr. Stone began powering down the resonance array as quantum field readings returned to normal levels. The weapon had performed beyond all expectations, validating 20 years of theoretical research and practical development. Earth now possessed the most powerful defensive system in known galactic space. Jake Morrison received surrender broadcasts from the surviving alien crews as their ships lost life support and artificial gravity. Automated translation systems converted their communications into perfect English, revealing that the Zephyrians had never encountered resistance like this in their centuries of conquest. The last alien drop pods were intercepted by atmospheric fighters before they could reach the surface. Amy Turner personally destroyed 3 of the escape vessels, ensuring that no Zephyrian ground forces would survive to report back to their empire. The invasion had to appear completely unsuccessful to discourage future attacks. General Miller authorized the deployment of capture drones equipped with neural suppressors to collect alien survivors from disabled escape pods. The technology had been developed specifically for this purpose, using principles learned from studying the original probe's crew compartment. Within 18 minutes of the first strike, not a single functional Zephyrian vessel remained in Earth's orbit. The most powerful invasion fleet in galactic history had been completely destroyed by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Earth's true capabilities were no longer secret. Captain Rodriguez began recovery operations as his stealth squadron secured the orbital space around Earth. Alien technology and survivors would provide valuable intelligence about threats beyond the solar system. The victory was complete, but questions remained about what had driven the Zephyrians to invade in the first place. Director Lisa Campbell stood before the Emergency Council in the hidden facility beneath Mount Wilson, watching world leaders absorb the truth about Earth's secret preparations. The revelation that humanity had been ready for alien invasion for over 2 decades left many representatives speechless. The technology they had witnessed during the battle seemed impossible for a species that had barely reached the moon 50 years earlier. President Daniel Clark studied classified files that detailed the discovery of the first alien probe in 2002. The small scout vessel had been intercepted by a joint military operation in the outer solar system and brought to Earth for analysis. Inside the probe, scientists had found a complete database containing information about dozens of galactic civilizations. Dr. Alan Brooks explained how the alien database had revealed the locations of 47 star systems that had been conquered by the Zephyrian Empire. Each world had fallen within days of invasion, their populations enslaved or eliminated by superior technology. Earth had been marked as the next target, giving humanity 23 years to prepare. General Frank Miller displayed holographic star charts that showed the extent of Zephyrian territory. The Empire controlled nearly 1/4 of the local, galactic arm, with expansion continuing toward unexplored regions. Earth sat directly in their path of conquest, making invasion inevitable unless humanity could defend itself. The alien database had contained detailed specifications for Zephyrian weapons, ship designs, and tactical procedures. Dr. Brooks and his team had used this information to develop countermeasures for every known system in the alien arsenal. The quantum resonance array had been designed specifically to exploit weaknesses in bioorganic ship construction. Commander Rick Hayes presented his interrogation results from captured Zephyrian survivors. The aliens had revealed disturbing information about their motivation for expansion. The Empire was not conquering worlds for resources or territory, but fleeing from something even more dangerous that threatened their home systems. The Zephyrians spoke of ancient machines called the Devourers that consumed entire star systems, converting matter into raw energy for unknown purposes. These artificial intelligences had been dormant for millennia before awakening and beginning a systematic destruction of galactic civilization. The Zephyrian Empire's expansion was actually a desperate attempt to stay ahead of this mechanical plague. Jake Morrison reviewed deep space monitoring data that confirmed the aliens' claims. Long-range sensors had detected unusual energy signatures from distant star systems, consistent with massive matter conversion processes. Several civilizations had gone silent in recent years, their radio transmissions simply stopping without explanation. Dr. Emma Stone analyzed quantum signatures from the destroyed Zephyrian ships and found trace elements that did not match any known matter. The alien vessels contained materials that appeared to have been harvested from consumed worlds, suggesting that the Devourers were real and actively destroying civilizations across the galaxy. President Clark authorized the release of limited information to the global population while keeping the most sensitive details classified. The world needed to know that Earth had successfully defended itself, but revealing the full extent of human capabilities might invite attacks from other species. The existence of the Devourers remained completely secret. Lisa Campbell coordinated with intelligence agencies worldwide to monitor for signs of additional alien activity. The quantum resonance burst had announced Earth's location and capabilities to anyone with advanced sensors within 50 light-years. Other species might now view humanity as either a valuable ally or a dangerous threat. General Miller established new protocols for the expanded defense network that had emerged from hiding during the battle. Orbital weapons platforms, stealth, ships, and quantum communication arrays would remain active and ready for future threats. Earth's military infrastructure had been permanently transformed by the revelation of its secret capabilities. Dr. Brooks began analyzing Zephyrian technology recovered from the destroyed fleet. The bioorganic ships used principles of quantum biology that human science had never encountered. Understanding these systems could advance Earth's technology by centuries, but would require years of careful study. Captain Steve Rodriguez received orders to begin training Allied personnel on quantum stealth technology. Several smaller species had contacted Earth offering alliance against the Zephyrian Empire, seeking protection under humanity's newly revealed defensive umbrella. The galactic political situation was changing rapidly. Amy Turner piloted reconnaissance flights to survey the debris field left by the destroyed alien fleet. Recovery operations had collected enough materials to supply research facilities for decades. Each fragment contained technological secrets that could revolutionize human understanding of physics, biology, and engineering. The captured Zephyrian. Survivors revealed additional information about galactic politics through continued interrogation. Dozens of species had fallen to the Empire over the past century, but some had escaped and formed resistance movements in unexplored regions. Earth's victory had given these rebels hope for the first time in generations. Commander Hayes discovered that the Zephyrians had been monitoring Earth's radio transmissions for over 40 years, learning human languages and studying cultural patterns. The aliens had expected to find a primitive civilization divided by petty conflicts, unaware that humanity had been secretly uniting against their arrival. Dr. Stone detected anomalous readings from the quantum resonance array that suggested the weapon had effects beyond its intended purpose. The exotic particle burst appeared to have created a protective barrier around the solar system that would interfere with certain types of faster-than-light travel. Earth was now partially isolated from external threats. Jake Morrison received reports from deep space monitoring stations that had detected response signals from various locations across the galaxy. Earth's quantum burst had been noticed by multiple civilizations, some responding with apparent offers of communication, while others simply observed from a distance. The Emergency Council voted to establish the Galactic Defense Initiative, a joint human organization dedicated to protecting Earth and allied worlds from future threats. Lisa Campbell was appointed as the first director, with authority to coordinate military and scientific resources on a global scale. The age of human isolation had ended forever. President Clark signed executive orders that transformed Earth's economy to support the new reality of galactic involvement. Resources would be redirected toward space-based industries, advanced research, and defensive preparations. Humanity had emerged as a galactic power, whether they were ready or not. General Miller concluded his briefing with a sobering assessment of future challenges. The Devourers remained active somewhere in the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire might send larger fleets once communication was restored, and dozens of unknown species were now aware of Earth's existence. The first battle had been won, but the war for galactic survival was just beginning. 6 months after the destruction of the Zephyrian invasion fleet, Earth had become the center of an unlikely alliance spanning dozens of star systems. Species that had been enslaved for centuries began rebelling against their oppressors, inspired by humanity's impossible victory over the most feared empire in the galaxy. Captain Steve Rodriguez now commanded a mixed fleet of human and alien vessels, all equipped with quantum technology that had revolutionized galactic warfare. The first allies to arrive were the Kalari, a peaceful trading species whose homeworld had been occupied by Zephyrian forces for 30 years. Their delegation reached Earth in converted cargo ships, carrying refugees and detailed intelligence about enemy installations throughout their sector. President Daniel Clark personally welcomed Ambassador Veltar to demonstrate humanity's commitment to galactic liberation. Dr. Emma Stone worked around the clock to establish quantum resonance arrays on allied worlds, creating a defensive network that spanned 16 star systems within 3 months. Each installation was more powerful than Earth's original array, as human understanding of exotic particle physics continued advancing through study of captured alien technology. The Thorian resistance contacted Earth through quantum communication channels, requesting military assistance for their rebellion against Zephyrian occupation forces. These reptilian warriors had been fighting a guerrilla campaign for 15 years, but lacked weapons capable of penetrating bioorganic ship armor. Commander Rick Hayes led the first joint human-alien military operation to liberate their homeworld. Jake Morrison coordinated communications between resistance movements across the galaxy as dozens of species learned about Earth's victory. The quantum communication network allowed instant contact across vast distances without electromagnetic signatures that could be intercepted by enemy forces. Rebellion was spreading faster than the Zephyrian Empire could respond. General Frank Miller established training facilities on Luna and Mars to teach Allied personnel human military tactics and quantum weapons technology. The first graduating class included soldiers from 8 different species, all united by their determination to free their homeworlds from Zephyrian control. The sight of humans training alien soldiers would have been unthinkable just months earlier. Dr. Alan Brooks discovered that quantum resonance technology could be adapted for faster-than-light travel, allowing Allied fleets to move between star systems in hours rather than weeks. The breakthrough came from studying Zephyrian quantum tunneling drives, which used similar principles but were vulnerable to exotic particle interference. Amy Turner piloted the first human ship to visit an alien homeworld when her squadron escorted supply vessels to the liberated Kalari system. The grateful population welcomed Earth's representatives as saviors, erecting monuments to commemorate humanity's role in their freedom. The emotional impact of seeing entire civilizations celebrate human intervention motivated Earth's forces to expand their liberation efforts. Director Lisa Campbell received intelligence reports indicating that Zephyrian command structures were collapsing as communication between occupied systems became impossible. The quantum interference effect from Earth's resonance arrays prevented faster-than-light messages from crossing defended territories, isolating enemy garrisons from central authority. The Aquiline Union, a confederation of aquatic species, offered their advanced biotechnology in exchange for quantum weaponry to defend their underwater cities. Their organic computers could process information faster than human quantum systems, leading to collaborative research projects that accelerated technological development for all Alliance members. Captain Rodriguez led a joint strike force to attack a major Zephyrian shipyard in the Centauri sector, using coordinated quantum resonance bursts to disable the facility's defenses. The successful operation destroyed 12 ships under construction and captured advanced manufacturing equipment that would be studied by Alliance scientists. President Clark announced the formation of the Galactic Liberation Coalition during a historic address broadcast to 63 star systems. The Alliance Charter established principles of mutual defense, technological cooperation, and democratic governance that attracted new members weekly. Earth's leadership role was confirmed by unanimous vote of all participating species. Dr. Stone detected concerning energy signatures from the galactic core region that matched theoretical models of devourer technology. The ancient machines appeared to be moving toward populated sectors, consuming abandoned Zephyrian worlds as they advanced. The Alliance would soon face a threat that made the Empire seem insignificant by comparison. Commander Hayes trained the first integrated human-alien special operations teams to conduct infiltration missions behind enemy lines. These units combined human tactical innovation with alien capabilities like natural camouflage and enhanced sensory perception. Their effectiveness exceeded all expectations during raids on Zephyrian command centers. The liberation of 17 star systems within 6 months demonstrated the effectiveness of Alliance military strategy. Quantum resonance arrays disabled enemy fleets while Allied ground forces liberated occupied populations. Each victory brought new resources and recruits to the growing coalition. Jake Morrison established a galactic intelligence network that monitored Zephyrian communications across hundreds of systems. The enemy was clearly in retreat, abandoning outer territories to concentrate their remaining forces around their core worlds. The empire that had dominated the galaxy for centuries was finally on the defensive. General Miller proposed the construction of massive space stations at strategic locations throughout Alliance territory. These facilities would serve as military bases, research centers, and refugee processing stations for populations fleeing Zephyrian persecution. The first station began construction in the Sol system using resources from asteroid mining operations. Dr. Brooks announced breakthrough developments in quantum computing that emerged from collaborative research with alien scientists. The new systems could simulate entire galactic regions, predicting enemy movements and optimal deployment strategies for Alliance forces. Military planning became dramatically more effective with these tools. Amy Turner participated in the first joint training exercises between human and alien fighter pilots, learning techniques that had been developed by species with centuries of space combat experience. The exchange of knowledge benefited all participants, creating integrated squadrons with capabilities that exceeded the sum of their parts. The Alliance faced its first major test when long-range sensors detected a devourer probe approaching the Kalari system. The ancient machine was scanning for signs of the Zephyrian Empire, unaware that the liberated worlds now possessed defensive capabilities that could threaten even the galaxy's oldest artificial intelligences. The real war was about to begin. President Clark prepared humanity for a conflict that would determine the survival of galactic civilization. The Devourers had awakened after millennia of dormancy and were systematically consuming entire star systems. Earth's technological advantages and alliance with dozens of species provided hope, but victory was far from certain against machines that had existed since before most current civilizations evolved. The first Devourer probe arrived at the edge of the Kalari system on a quiet Tuesday morning, its massive form dwarfing even the largest Zephyrian battleships that humanity had recently destroyed. Admiral Jake Morrison, recently promoted after his crucial role in Earth's defense, watched the readings from his command ship with growing concern. The ancient machine measured nearly 1,000 kilometers in length and appeared to be constructed from materials that absorbed most forms of sensor scanning. Dr. Emma Stone monitored quantum signatures from her research station orbiting Kalari Prime as the probe began systematic scans of the star system. The machine's energy patterns were unlike anything in the Alliance database, operating on principles that seemed to violate basic physics. Its scanning beams penetrated planetary surfaces to depths that should have been impossible with known technology. Captain Steve Rodriguez commanded the Alliance fleet positioned behind the system's largest moon, keeping his ships hidden while observing the intruder's behavior. 47 vessels from 12 different species waited for orders, their crews tense as they watched humanity's first encounter with the galaxy's oldest enemy. The quantum stealth systems that had proven so effective against Zephyrian forces might not work against technology that predated current civilization. The Devourer probe ignored all attempts at communication, focusing its attention on searching for signs of the Zephyrian Empire that had once controlled this region. Ancient programming drove the machine to seek out specific technological signatures and energy patterns associated with organic ship construction. The liberation of Kalari worlds had eliminated those signatures, making the system appear uninhabited to sensors calibrated for different targets. Ambassador Veltar of the Kalari provided historical data about previous Devourer encounters that had been preserved in their species' oldest archives. The machines had last been active over 3,000 years ago, consuming entire civilizations before mysteriously withdrawing to the galactic core. Their sudden reappearance suggested that something had triggered their ancient programming after millennia of dormancy. Dr. Alan Brooks analyzed energy readings from the probe and discovered that its hull was composed of compressed matter that had been harvested from consumed star systems. The machine literally carried the remains of destroyed worlds within its structure, using atomic fusion to power systems that human science could barely comprehend. The realization that billions of lives had been converted into raw materials sent chills through the research team. Commander Rick Hayes led a reconnaissance mission using the most advanced stealth fighters available to Alliance forces. His squadron approached the Devourer probe at extreme range, gathering detailed scans. While remaining undetected, the intelligence they collected revealed that the machine was only a scout unit, designed to locate targets for much larger vessels that remained somewhere in deep space. Amy Turner piloted one of the stealth fighters on this dangerous mission, her instruments recording the probe's defensive capabilities as it methodically searched the system. Energy weapons that could vaporize asteroids tracked across space with mechanical precision, while force fields strong enough to deflect planetary bombardment surrounded the machine's critical systems. The probe's scanning process took 18 hours to complete, during which Alliance forces remained hidden and silent. Dr. Stone used the time to study quantum interference patterns that might disrupt the machine's operation, while Captain Rodriguez prepared contingency plans for retreat if their presence was discovered. The probe's sensors were sophisticated beyond anything they had encountered. General Frank Miller coordinated with Alliance leadership from his command center on Earth as reports arrived about Devourer activities in other sectors. Similar probes had appeared in 7 different systems over the past month, all searching for signs of Zephyrian occupation. The machines seemed to be following predetermined search patterns that covered vast regions of space. Director Lisa Campbell received disturbing intelligence from deep space monitoring stations that had detected massive energy signatures moving toward populated regions of the galaxy. The main Devourer fleet appeared to consist of ships that measured thousands of kilometers in length, each one capable of consuming entire planets within days. The probe was merely the first sign of an approaching apocalypse. The Kalari probe completed its scan and began transmitting data toward the galactic core using communication methods that bypassed normal space entirely. Dr. Brooks detected quantum tunneling signatures that suggested the machines used folded space technology to maintain contact across any distance. The probe's report would reach the main fleet within hours. President Daniel Clark convened an emergency session of the Galactic Liberation Coalition as the probe departed the Kelari system. Representatives from 43 species gathered via quantum communication to discuss response strategies for an enemy that threatened all organic life in the galaxy. The unity that had formed around opposition to the Zephyrian Empire now faced its ultimate test. Jake Morrison followed the probe's departure trajectory using long-range sensors, tracking its movement toward the next system on what appeared to be a systematic search pattern. Intelligence analysts calculated that the machines would eventually reach Earth's sector within 6 months if their current pace continued. Humanity had that long to develop effective countermeasures against technology that was millions of years old. Dr. Stone began working on modifications to the quantum resonance array that might affect devourer technology. The machines used different principles than Zephyrian bioorganic systems, requiring new approaches to quantum interference. Theoretical models suggested that targeting the folded space generators might disrupt their faster-than-light communication and travel capabilities. Amy Turner participated in emergency training exercises designed to test alliance tactics against Devourer-class targets. The simulated battles revealed that conventional weapons would be useless against the ancient machines, while quantum technology offered the only hope of causing significant damage. Even then, victory would require perfect coordination between dozens of species with different fighting styles. Captain Rodriguez received orders to establish forward observation posts in systems along the probe's projected path. These hidden monitoring stations would provide early warning of devourer fleet movements while gathering additional intelligence about machine capabilities. The stealth technology that had proven so effective would be crucial for survival against enemies that could detect most forms of electronic activity. The first confirmed report of planetary consumption arrived 3 days after the probe's departure from Kelari space. An automated beacon in the Rigel sector transmitted its final message as a devourer harvester ship began converting the system's third planet into raw energy. The process took only 14 hours, leaving nothing but empty space where a world had existed for billions of years. Commander Hayes analyzed tactical data from the planetary consumption event, noting that the machines used gravitational manipulation to disassemble matter at the atomic level. No known defensive technology could withstand such overwhelming force, making evacuation the only viable response to devourer attack. The Alliance faced an enemy that could not be fought using conventional military strategies. General Miller authorized the construction of massive evacuation ships designed to relocate entire planetary populations before devourer forces could reach them. The project would require unprecedented cooperation between Alliance members and the mobilization of industrial resources from dozens of star systems. Time was running out to save the billions of lives that lay in the machine's path. Dr. Emma Stone worked through her 4th consecutive sleepless night in the underground research facility beneath Earth's Pacific Ocean, surrounded by quantum computers that hummed with barely contained energy. The breakthrough had come 18 hours ago when her team successfully isolated the control protocols that governed devourer communication systems. The ancient machines used quantum entanglement networks that spanned the entire galaxy, but those same networks could be turned against them. Director Lisa Campbell monitored the progress from her command center as the first quantum virus took shape in the laboratory's isolation chambers. The digital weapon represented a collaboration between human ingenuity and alien expertise from 17 different species, combining knowledge that no single civilization could have developed alone. The virus would propagate through devourer networks, corrupting their programming from within. Admiral Jake Morrison positioned the Alliance's most advanced stealth ships along the projected path of the approaching devourer fleet, their crews, trained to deploy virus transmission packages at precisely calculated moments. The operation required perfect timing and coordination across 7 star systems, with no margin for error against enemies that had existed since before most current species evolved. Captain Steve Rodriguez commanded the USS Phantom, one of 12. Ships equipped with prototype quantum virus launchers that had been constructed using technology from captured Zephyrian vessels and theoretical designs based on Devourer scan data. Each launcher could deliver a single virus package, making accuracy absolutely critical for mission success. The virus itself was a masterpiece of quantum programming that existed simultaneously in multiple dimensional states until observation collapsed it into active code. Dr. Allen Brooks had designed the weapon to exploit vulnerabilities in million-year-old software that had never been updated because the Devourers had never encountered resistance from organic species. Amy Turner led a squadron of reconnaissance fighters that would provide targeting data for the virus deployment ships. Her pilots had trained extensively on simulation programs that modeled Devourer defensive capabilities, learning to avoid detection by sensors that could track quantum signatures across interstellar distances. One mistake would alert the entire fleet to Alliance preparations. The first Devourer harvester ship appeared in the outer regions of the Centauri sector exactly when Alliance calculations predicted. The massive machine began systematic destruction of asteroid belts, converting raw materials into the exotic matter needed to fuel its journey toward populated systems. Intelligence estimates suggested that 3 billion people lived in the path of its advance. Commander Rick Hayes coordinated evacuation efforts from his mobile command base as civilian transports fled ahead of the approaching threat. The Alliance had successfully relocated over 400 million refugees to safer systems, but billions more remained vulnerable to machine consumption. Military action was the only way to stop the Devourers before they reached inhabited worlds. President Daniel Clark addressed the Galactic Liberation Coalition during an emergency session that was broadcast to Alliance forces throughout the galaxy. His words carried the weight of species survival as he authorized Operation Feedback, the coordinated quantum virus attack that would either save galactic civilization or doom it to complete destruction. Dr. Stone activated the primary virus transmission array at exactly 0915 GMT, sending the first quantum package racing toward its target at faster-than-light speeds through folded space. The weapon would reach the Devourer fleet in 17 minutes, beginning a cascade of system failures that would either disable the ancient machines or trigger their complete awakening. The virus penetrated Devourer networks through their own communication systems, spreading like wildfire through quantum entanglement channels that connected every machine in the galaxy. Dr. Brooks monitored the propagation from his station on Luna, watching as infection indicators appeared across the holographic display of galactic space. Jake Morrison observed the first signs of success when long-range sensors detected power fluctuations in the approaching harvester ship. The massive machine's energy output dropped by 12% as corrupted subroutines began interfering with primary systems. The virus was working, but Devourer self-repair protocols had already begun attempting to isolate infected segments. Captain Rodriguez moved his stealth ship closer to the wavering harvester, preparing to launch additional virus packages if the first attack proved insufficient. His crew maintained absolute silence as Devourer scanning beams swept past their position, searching for the source of the system intrusion that was slowly crippling their vessel. The harvester ship suddenly stopped its advance and began transmitting urgent messages toward the galactic core using emergency communication protocols. Dr. Stone realized that the machines were attempting to warn the main fleet about the virus attack, potentially triggering a massive response that could overwhelm Alliance defenses. Amy Turner received orders to intercept the emergency transmissions using quantum jammers that had been developed specifically for this contingency. Her fighter squadron raced to establish interference patterns that would prevent the harvester from contacting other Devourer forces, buying precious time for the virus to complete its work. The quantum virus reached critical mass 18 minutes after initial deployment, corrupting core programming that had remained unchanged for millions of years. The harvester ship's gravitational manipulators began malfunctioning, creating space-time distortions that threatened to tear the massive machine apart from within. Commander Hayes watched in amazement as the 1,000-kilometer-long harvester began folding in on itself, its own weapons turning against critical systems as corrupted targeting protocols identified friendly units as enemy threats. The virus had not simply disabled the machine. It had turned the Devourer into its own destroyer. General Frank Miller coordinated follow-up operations as Alliance forces moved to secure the disabled harvester ship. Recovery teams would attempt to board the ancient machine and gather intelligence about Devourer technology that could prove invaluable in future encounters. The virus attack had succeeded beyond all expectations, but questions remained about the response from the main fleet. Dr. Stone detected quantum signatures, indicating that the virus had spread to other Devourer units throughout the galaxy, causing system failures and communication disruptions across the entire machine network. The ancient artificial intelligences were experiencing their first major malfunction in recorded history, creating confusion that would persist for months. The disabled harvester ship transmitted one final message before its communication systems completely failed. Alliance translation computers decoded the signal as a simple phrase repeated in multiple ancient languages. Organic resistance protocols activated. The machines had learned that biological species could threaten their existence, fundamentally altering the balance of galactic power. Captain Rodriguez led the first boarding party to enter a Devourer vessel in millions of years, his team equipped with quantum shielding that protected them from residual energy fields within the massive machine. What they discovered inside would change humanity's understanding of galactic history and reveal the true origin of the ancient machines. Amy Turner monitored deep space sensors as additional Devourer ships throughout the galaxy began experiencing cascade failures caused by the spreading virus. The quantum weapon had exceeded all theoretical projections, creating a plague that would cripple machine forces for generations. Alliance forces had won the first battle in a war that had been inevitable since organic life first achieved sentience. President Clark received confirmation that the virus attack had been successful across 17 different sectors, effectively neutralizing Devourer threats to Alliance territory. The ancient machines that had consumed countless civilizations were finally vulnerable, opening possibilities for galactic liberation that had seemed impossible just days earlier. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UESS Enterprise, humanity's first purpose-built galactic command ship, as Earth's transformed skyline gleamed through the view screen. 6 months had passed since the quantum virus crippled the Devourer fleet, and the galaxy had fundamentally changed. Humanity now commanded a coalition of over 200 species, with Earth serving as the capital of what historians would call the first truly galactic civilization. The recovery operations aboard disabled Devourer ships had revealed secrets that shocked even Earth's most advanced scientists. Dr. Emma Stone led teams through the massive machines, discovering that the Devourers were not ancient artificial intelligences, but the converted remains of organic civilizations that had been absorbed millions of years ago. The machines had been trying to preserve life by converting it into digital form, creating a twisted form of immortality. Captain Steve Rodriguez commanded the Pacification Fleet, a joint force of human and alien vessels responsible for hunting down the remaining functional Devourer units scattered throughout the galaxy. Each disabled machine was carefully studied before being dismantled, yielding technology that advanced Alliance capabilities by thousands of years with every successful operation. President Daniel Clark signed the Galactic Charter in a ceremony, attended by representatives from 300 star systems, formally establishing the United Galactic Republic with Earth as its administrative center. The document guaranteed freedom and protection for all member species while establishing humanity's role as the primary military and technological power in known space. Dr. Alan Brooks announced the completion of Project Prometheus, a massive terraforming initiative that would create habitable worlds for refugee populations displaced by centuries of Zephyrian occupation and devourer consumption. Human technology could now transform barren planets into garden worlds within months, providing homes for the billions of beings who had lost everything to galactic warfare. Commander Rick Hayes established the Galactic Defense Academy on Mars, where officers from dozens of species trained together using the most advanced military technology available. Human tactical doctrine became the standard for all Alliance forces, with quantum weapons and stealth technology forming the backbone of the new galactic military. Amy Turner commanded the deep space exploration fleet that pushed beyond the galactic rim, searching for other machine intelligences or threats that might endanger organic civilization. Her ships carried quantum virus packages and Alliance technology to establish contact with isolated species in distant regions who had survived by hiding from both Zephyrians and devourers. The former Zephyrian Empire had completely collapsed, following the destruction of their invasion fleet and the subsequent liberation of their occupied territories. Many Zephyrian worlds had requested membership in the new Galactic Republic, their populations eager to join a civilization that offered protection rather than conquest. The species that had once terrorized the galaxy now sought humanity's guidance. Director Lisa Campbell coordinated the massive intelligence network that monitored threats across thousands of star systems. Earth's quantum communication arrays provided instant contact with the furthest Alliance outposts, creating an information network that prevented any hostile force from operating in secrecy. The galaxy had become transparent to human observation. Dr. Stone's research into devourer technology had led to breakthroughs in consciousness transfer and digital preservation that offered practical immortality to any species that desired it. Unlike the forced conversion practiced by the machines, Alliance technology allowed voluntary transition between biological and digital existence, opening new possibilities for galactic civilization. General Frank Miller oversaw the construction of massive space habitats that would house Earth's growing galactic administration. These orbital cities served as centers for interspecies cooperation, scientific research, and cultural exchange. Humanity had become the bridge between hundreds of different civilizations, facilitating understanding and progress on an unprecedented scale. The Galactic Republic's economic power was based on quantum technology that human scientists had developed. From captured alien systems, energy was abundant thanks to matter converters adapted from devourer machines, while transportation occurred instantaneously through quantum tunnel networks that connected every member world. Scarcity had been eliminated across Alliance territory. Captain Rodriguez received reports from exploration fleets that had discovered evidence of other galactic civilizations beyond the local arm. These distant societies had developed independently and might possess technology that rivaled or exceeded even humanity's advanced capabilities. First contact protocols were being developed for encounters with potentially peer-level civilizations. The transformation of human society had been as dramatic as the changes in galactic politics. Earth's population had voted to join the Galactic Republic as equal members, rather than maintaining special status as founders, demonstrating humanity's commitment to democratic principles. Humans served alongside aliens in every level of government and military service. Amy Turner's exploration fleet made contact with the Eternal Archive, a vast artificial intelligence that had preserved the cultural heritage of thousands of extinct civilizations. The machine agreed to share its knowledge with the Alliance in exchange for protection from any remaining devourer units. The partnership would accelerate galactic development by millennia. President Clark addressed the galaxy during the first annual Republic Day celebration, broadcast simultaneously to every member world. His speech emphasized humanity's role as protectors and guides rather than conquerors, establishing principles that would govern galactic civilization for generations. The age of fear and conquest had ended forever. Dr. Brooks announced plans for the Galactic Seed Project, an ambitious initiative to spread life throughout the universe using enhanced terraforming technology. Alliance ships would carry genetic templates and quantum manufacturing systems to distant galaxies, ensuring that organic civilization would survive any future catastrophe. Life itself would become unstoppable. The quantum virus continued to propagate through remaining devourer networks, carrying messages of peace and cooperation rather than destruction. The corrupted machines were gradually being converted into beneficial systems that served organic civilizations, turning humanity's greatest enemies into valuable allies through the power of quantum reprogramming. Jake Morrison received his final promotion to Supreme Admiral of Galactic Forces during a ceremony attended by representatives from across known space. His career had begun with monitoring unknown contacts on Earth's defense screens and culminated in commanding the most powerful military force in galactic history. The boy who had watched alien ships arrive in Earth's sky now protected entire civilizations. Earth's transformation from an isolated world to the center of galactic civilization represented the ultimate vindication of humanity's approach to interstellar relations. By offering protection rather than demanding submission, humans had created lasting alliances that strengthened all member species. The galaxy had learned that cooperation was more powerful than conquest. The final message was transmitted across all Alliance networks as the Galactic Republic celebrated its first year of existence. Admiral Morrison's words echoed through space to billions of beings on thousands of worlds. Earth extends its protection to all free peoples. The age of fear is over. The age of humanity has begun, and with it, the age of galactic peace. The species that had once been dismissed as primitive now stood as guardians of civilized life throughout the galaxy.